Hello and welcome. My name is Carolyn Nichol. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist, and I'm very thrilled to have you guys here with us. So, if you want to just put your name in the chat, or if not your name, just the city that you are from, I would love to just see who we have and where you guys have come from. So, if you have never met me, I am a certified holistic nutritionist. I've been practicing for more than a decade. And I want to show you guys today the 5 natural ways to fight a virus. So, I do want to see if I can share my screen with you guys here. And I want to just do this via PowerPoint because I think that it'd be really good for you to see the visual as we go through this. So again, thank you for joining. And I also want to just remind you to put your name in the chat, or if not your name, just put your city that you guys are from in the live chat. So 5 ways to naturally fight a virus. This is very important because we are living in a world where, it just seems that there's a new virus at all times. So is there anything wrong with the virus? So first of all, I want you guys to know that having a cold, catching a virus, this is not a bad thing. Okay, so we were talking on the Dr. Vibe show last week. Catching a cold is not a problem. The problem is when the cold catches you. That's when the problem comes in. When it takes you down, your body's aching, you can't really work. That's when the problem is. But when you just catch a virus, it's not taking you down. You're still functionable and you can function through it. This is not a bad place to be because your body, so incredibly made, has the ability to actually create antibodies to fight against that pathogen. Now, this is basically how vaccines used to be made up, is that you would get a small, tiny, microscopic portion of that virus or that little disease, and so that your body would create an antibody for it, so that if the chickenpox comes or if polio comes in, your body already has the antibodies to make it. And so that's where the old school thought would come in, is that, if your child has chickenpox, I'm bringing my child over so they can play together and my child can catch the virus, because it is known and understood that basically, as you are getting the virus in your body should be able to create an antibody. So I just want you to know that catching a cold is really not a problem. It's actually a good thing. The problem is when the cold catches you. And we know this as COVID had come on the scene, and now there's different variants of this SARS virus. But again, that it's not such a big problem to have a virus. We don't need to be afraid of them. And we want to welcome you, Opal. Thanks for being here. So here's the thing. Is the answer to fighting a cold or a virus in taking supplements? Well, vitamin C and vitamin D and zinc and B6 are excellent supplements, friends, they're not the answer. And nobody should be taking vitamin C and supplements every single day unless you have a chronic condition. Supplements are not the answer. So this is something that I think we need to realize, is it is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Supplements are multi-billion-dollar industry, and it is a real problem because most people are literally flushing their money down the drain. We should only take a vitamin C if we feel we're having a cold coming on. Taking vitamin D if your vitamin D is really low, but the truth is we should be getting outside and getting some sunshine. So zinc to take if you're maybe fighting a prostate issue or your immune system has been depleted. So taking vitamins or supplements for a short period of time is good for speedy healing, but we should not need to be living off of supplements. So, of the top 5 things to fight a cold, taking these supplements are not the answer. And so let's find out what is the answer when it comes to supplements. Well, before I get into these top 5 things, I want to show you that prevention is still the best remedy. And that's an age-old saying, but it is so true, right? So an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and that is so true. Now, there are some things that you can't prevent. You cannot prevent or control viruses that are running around. I have no idea what's lurking outside the door. Not a clue how many viruses are in the air, or if I'm going to walk into somebody's house, what kind of cold they've had. And know that many people don't even show symptoms of cold, and they're still carrying around the virus. And welcome, Roots Revived. And for anybody else that is able to put in the chat, we'd love to know where you are watching from. So control what you can. We don't have to be afraid of what's lurking around the door or what somebody else might be carrying as far as a virus. We don't need to be afraid of that if our immune system is healthy and strong on a regular basis. So how can we make sure that we are absolutely getting the nutrients from our body? Well, our body has a checklist, okay? So your body knows all by itself how much vitamin D it needs and how much vitamin B and antioxidants. So once that nutrient checklist is filled up, you can really, it's almost smooth sailing. Now, how do you do that? How can you make sure that you know how much vitamin D and B? Well, this is not a class for that. So talk to me. You can get in touch with me by putting your information, sending your information to me directly at info@energyshackjuicebar.com, and I will get in touch with you, or you can call us, or even just leave a comment and I will be able to get in touch with you. But there is a way to eat healthy naturally to fill that up. And let me just give you basic information. A plant-based diet is key. You only need 2 meals a day. Your meals need to be nutrient dense, not calorie rich. Okay. So that's a little bit of a tidbit of information, but just making sure, just basic information. Stay away from the processed food and eat food in their whole natural state. So as soon as you open up a package, your food is compromised. And plant foods are always going to be the best choice. But if we have processed food, we have lots of carbohydrates, we're having sugars and alcohol and coffee and takeout food. Of course, your immune system is going to be compromised. Here is something you may not have known, but almost 80% of your immune system, guess where it is? Guess where 80% of your immune system hangs out? Somebody, we've got a good audience here. Somebody tell me where 80% of your immune system hangs out and spends most of their time. Yes, we have a lymph system. Yes, of course, you've got, your lymph system and your lymph nodes in different parts of your body. But where is 80% of your immune system hanging out? Does anybody in the audience want to take a shot of where that is? Going once, twice, 3 times? All right, I'm going to tell you. Here is the answer. Drum roll, please. It is in your digestive tract. So if 80% of your immune system's in your digestive tract, then if you are experiencing gas, bloating, acid reflux, if you're having trouble with digestion, you are automatically going to have a compromised immune system. And that is a truth. So having a healthy immune system is definitely the way, is definitely best to be, you're able to have a healthy immune system when you can have a healthy digestive system. Somehow I got that twisted. So just make sure you're eating in a way that actually creates a good bacterial flora. You're not having all this junk food. You're not snacking all the time. You're not having alcohol and caffeine that creates, honestly, dysbiosis and imbalance of stomach acids happen with every drink of coffee, black tea, green tea, or white tea. But I'm not going to get on my coffee or caffeine kick today. I just want you guys to understand that you're in control of what goes past those lips. You're also in control of what comes out of it, but that's another story for another time. But what you put in your mouth is in your control. I can't control the virus that is lurking around. I cannot control what can happen to me or you the next minute, but you can control what you eat. You can control when you eat. You can control what you drink. So just making those healthy choices is the best prevention. And read this amazing quote. It says that when the immune system responds to pathogens, chemokines inform them, and your cytokines inform immune cells, such as your macrophages and T cells, to travel to the infected area. Although glucose, which in itself is not bad, folks, glucose is not a problem. Your body needs glucose for energy. But when you have the wrong glucose or too much of it, although glucose is vital for the proper function of your immune cells and their proliferation of those, that's like punching holes in those pathogens to kill them, a high amount of glucose leads to impaired function of the immune system and your pathological conditions. So this is very important to know. And let me just summarize this in a little bit more layman's terms here, although I think it was pretty clear, is that understanding that sugar will disable your immune system, an extra tablespoon of sugar that your body doesn't need. And by the way, just having 2 or 3 fruits a day is all the sugar that you really do need. But sugar will disable your immune system by 25% almost immediately. And you might be saying, oh, that's okay. I'm not much of a sweet tooth. I don't eat a lot of sugar. But are you eating a lot of bread? Are you having a lot of carbohydrates? Because if you are, and you're not burning through those carbohydrates, they will turn into glucose in your body. Okay, so understand that carbohydrates will turn into glucose. And if that glucose is not used, it's now turning into cholesterol. Big problem with too much carbohydrates for our mostly inactive lifestyle today. So just understand that prevention is the best cure before we get into these 5 things. And you might be saying, you know what? I am doing a great job with what I'm eating. I have a fruit smoothie for breakfast, and I have, a green shake at lunchtime, and then I just have my salmon or my chicken and my salad at dinner. But I want you to know that cold smoothies, and especially ones filled with fruit, are really detrimental for your body. Cold water is also trouble. Anything cold in your system arrests your body and depletes your immune system. So make sure you're not having cold things. Your water's warm or room temperature. Stop drinking your smoothies. Eat your food. You need to chew it. So there is some misinformation out there about what is healthy, because it's, yes, I could look at that smoothie and say tons of antioxidants, lots of vitamin C, it's even got some magnesium in there, but we're not really looking at the whole picture. And as a holistic nutritionist, I really try to look at the whole picture. And to consume your food in its liquid state means that it's missing stage 1 of digestion, so it doesn't get chewed, and then it's cold in a very warm body. And now my immune system cannot work properly because I haven't created a conducive environment for my immune system to thrive. So cold things are a bad idea. And so it's really best to just stick with warm or room temperature water as often as you can. And in order for you to fill up that nutrient checklist, just try to do a wide variety of whole food, plant-based foods. So, just get a variety of colors. Don't eat the same thing every day, day in and day out. You might eat the same thing for 2 or 3 days, but mix it up. Make sure there's red and orange and green and blue. So just having a wide variety of nutrients in your diet from a wide variety of vegetables. And friends, can I tell you, try to eat in season locally. This is a really big deal that I think we missed the mark in, because for those that are listening from North America, we get a lot of imported foods. That doesn't necessarily mean that's healthy. We should be eating our food in season. If Canada's not growing peaches, I'm not eating peaches. When they grow, I'm eating them. If Canada is not making, is not growing berries, I'm generally not eating berries. I really try to eat as local as we can. And yes, I know that gets a little bit boring for the winter months, but I find that my body responds so much better to local food. Organic is best, but if you can't get organic, even if you get local, that means less pesticides. If we're going to bring a kiwi in all the way from Italy, you better be sure it was not picked when it was ripe, for sure. It was coated with pesticides while growing, and then again before it leaves for transportation. I mean, as soon as you see your things coming in from far, be sure that there is a lot of toxins associated with it. So you might be eating simply, but try to eat a good variety and try to eat locally as best as you can. And so finally, the last two things that I want you to know for prevention before we get into these amazing 5 things to help fight a virus is your raw versus cooked. So having more high water concentrated foods actually help you build prebiotics and electrolytes in your system. So you will want to make sure that you have your fruits before your breakfast item, your salad before your cooked meal. This is very important. Eating earlier in the day rather than later as well, because after 4 o'clock, when the sun begins to set, your metabolism starts to really slow down. So having those earlier meals spaced out 5 or 6 hours apart, and having that, raw concentrated food. So that big salad, there's lettuce, there's cucumbers, you're getting water with the fiber and the nutrients. Very, very important. So doing that, and of course, which is neglected by so many, exercise. Why is exercise so important? Does anybody know why exercise is so important for your immune system? Going once, twice, 3 times, throw it in the chat. You guys are being good listeners. Exercise, well, first let's look at the heart. The heart is a muscle, and praise the Lord, it pumps all by itself multiple thousands of beats every single moment of our lives. Okay, so this is important, right? This keeps us alive. Your lymph system, right, where much of your immune system is, your lymph system doesn't have a pump like your heart does. It moves when you move. So if you have a sedentary lifestyle, if you're not moving around a lot, your lymph system is in jeopardy. And, great exercises, especially rebounding, where you're jumping, you're moving, gravity is working against you, jumping jacks, burpees. These things are very good. They get your body going up and down. Running is a little hard on your joints, but some brisk walking outside just gets your body moving every single day. And if you have an active job, that's great. If you don't, make sure that if you're at a desk, you get up every hour on the hour. Just do a few marchings, march on the spot, just move around a bit, but you've got to keep moving. You can't sit all day. Exercise is one of the greatest preventions, or one of the greatest ways to strengthen your immune system, besides, of course, a healthy diet. Actually, there's quite a few here. But exercise is so key for a strong immune system. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. And here we go into our 5 ways to fight a virus naturally. And I know these are all not going to be brand new for you. In fact, probably none of them are brand new for you, but I just want to unpack them a little bit more so that you guys can really realize that staying healthy is affordable. It's in my own home. I don't have to go very far to get it, and it's it's practical. So it's affordable, it's practical, it's achievable, and it's probably staring at you in the face, like right now with these cloves of garlic. So my number one cure for almost any cold or virus is garlic. Garlic is incredible. And try to get it organic and local where you can. When you're importing garlic, especially from lots of other different countries, it's not always going to be cultivated in healthy soils. So garlic can last for a long time. It's actually not that difficult to grow. Get your local garlic, get it organic where you can, but our garlic is a natural antibiotic. At the first sign of a cold, you are going to want to take a couple cloves of garlic, blend them with the juice of a lemon, okay? A little bit of water to add to your blender if needed, and just like a half a teaspoon of honey to get that concoction down. So simple. But just blend up that garlic and take a couple tablespoons 3 times a day. That garlic is a natural antibiotic. It will strengthen your immune system like almost nothing else I've ever seen. It is so powerful. Throw it in your salad dressing. Make some hummus and throw an extra couple cloves of garlic. The beauty about garlic is that its properties are not killed by cooking. Some of them are, and the enzymes are, but garlic is still a potent antibiotic even once it's cooked. Not as potent, but it's still potent. So you can add that garlic into your cooking. I know that, maybe your spouse doesn't want to give you a kiss for the next couple days because the garlic is very strong, but here's a cure for that bad breath. If you like grapefruit, if you take the seed from a grapefruit and you chew on it after you've had some garlic, and I used to just keep a whole bunch of frozen grapefruit seeds in my freezer when my kids were younger because, there's viruses going everywhere when the kids are younger. And that way you chew on that grapefruit seed, don't swallow it, just spit it out. And that is a trick that I learned from Dr. Thomas Jackson from Meat Ministries, who is a fantastic ministry in Tennessee. But that's a way to get bad breath gone. But back to our garlic. So throw it in anything you can. Get that garlic, slice it up, put it in your sandwich. But garlic is a natural antibiotic and should not be underestimated. But here's the key is that if you're going to be fighting a cold or virus, you want to catch it at the moment it shows its head. The moment you feel something coming on, you want to take it, okay? So we also make a natural penicillin at the Energy Shack where we mix the garlic and we blend actually a whole lemon with the skin, a whole orange with the skin. And we also add to it, number 2, we add an onion. Onions are also natural antibiotics. They have allicin in it too. So that is a chemical that helps to fight viruses, strengthen your immune system. Onions are so high. People don't think about it. When we think of vitamin C, we think of, lemons and oranges. Onions are so high in vitamin C. This is a powerful, powerful natural remedy for you. Now, the reason why I'm bringing up onions as the number 2, these aren't really necessarily in order of their importance, but the second thing that you should do to fight a virus is because onions have really powerful pulling properties. So sometimes with a cold or virus, a fever comes along with that. And when that happens, that's not a bad thing because your body is heating up. So amazing. Your body heats itself up. Do you know why? Because pathogens generally cannot survive in heat, but your cells were designed to. So your body is getting super hot to try to just kill that virus, get that pathogen gone, whatever is attacking your immune system. And then when your body's like, this gal can't take this fever anymore, this is going on too long, your body will break the fever, and then we will see who wins, right? So after the fever breaks, it's always this waiting game, especially when you have kids. Now is the cold coming out, or now is everything gone? And so what an amazing thing that you can do is to help your body win and help that fever work. See, the problem with over-the-counter medication like a Tylenol or some kind of acetaminophen that will bring the bring the fever down is that your body's not ready to bring the fever down. The fever is actually a good thing. It's not a bad thing. But when you use a natural remedy, you work in synchronization with your immune system. So, for instance, if you put a cold cloth on the head while you have a fever, your brain's like, thank you, thank you, thank you for the relief, while the rest of your body is heating up. So it's not a bad thing that you would add that cold cloth to your head. But when you take an over-the-counter medication that stops the fever, your body's like, what are you doing? We almost had that virus killed and you just turned off the heat. It's not a good thing. But what you can do is you can take an onion. If you need it really quickly, you can just cut it in half and put that half side on the bottom of your feet. Your feet have the largest pores on your skin than any other place in your body. And onions have pulling properties. They're also detoxifying. So what's going to happen is that onion will go through your system. It will help to strengthen your immune system, which will also help to break the fever naturally at the right time. I cannot tell you how many onions I have been able to use to help people break a fever, and it would appear the onion's not really necessarily breaking the fever, but it's giving that extra strength to your immune system to fight that pathogen, and your body's like, turn this fever off. So if you put that onion on your feet, you can put a sock over it to secure it, or a little bit maybe easier, because it's hard to walk around with onions on the bottom of your feet. You could chop up the onion and just get a plastic bag, put a paper towel on the bottom, put the chopped onion there, but you've got to lay your foot right on the chopped onion. Then tie that bag over you, put a sock over that, and go to sleep. Go to sleep. And that onion should be great. Now, if your virus has turned into an ear infection, you can do the same thing, but put the onion in a paper towel and put that paper towel onion over the ear. Or honestly, you could literally just strap that. I'm sure that's not very pretty. And make sure you're not on a Zoom call, but you could strap that onion to your ear. You can cook an onion and actually squeeze a little bit of the cooked onion juice inside the ear, not a lot, and then put even that cooked worm onion over your ear. You cannot imagine how many incredible natural remedies there are with food that we have in our very own home. How much is an onion? How much is garlic? I mean, I'm not telling you to go and buy a ton of different supplements and spend a lot of money, like you just need a couple dollars. So this is my number 2 natural remedy. And for those that are just joining us, throw in the chat. Would love to hear what city you are in, your name if you'd like to share it, but would really like to know who we have with us today, because this is really great information and I hope you're getting some good stuff out of it. So number 3, friends, sleep. Sleep is of vital importance. And I know for myself, when, I used to have a very bad habit that sleep's like always the first thing to compromise when I have too many things to do. I rarely compromise on my exercise, on my eating habits, but I will compromise on sleep. And you can't. You can't. I've really had to learn this the hard way. Here's the thing about sleep, is that during the hours of about 9 p.m. and 1 in the morning, your immune system is strengthened. Cytokines are actually produced. Your hormones go into balance. Your hormones are the communication messengers in your body. Your cytokines, they're not immune system fighters, they're immune system messengers. So you have different, which I'll show you here, is that we have different parts, different types of white blood cells. Okay, you have your macrophages, which will actually eat the virus alive and kill it that way. You have your lymphocytes, you have your mast cells, you have your fibroblasts. Yeah, but knowing who's going to come out to fight this pathogen is a decision your body has to make. How is that decision made? You got it, friends. Your cytokines. Those are your immune system messengers. They go back to your lymph system and they communicate what kind of virus we have, what kind of technology it's carrying. And what its behavior is like. And your cytokines take that information. How on earth our system can do this without even being told? And it goes back to your lymph system and lets your body know which soldier should go out right now and what weapon of warfare they should take. Is this a job for the killer T cells or special force, or is this for the mast cells? Because this seems like more like an allergen than anything else. So your body, and maybe it might send out 2 or 3, but if you don't have those cytokines, pure confusion in your system. Who's coming out? Oh, that's the wrong one. Oh, this wasn't supposed to be there. Where are those cytokines? They're not telling us what to do. I mean, I don't know if anybody runs a business. I run a couple of them. And if we do not have good communication, it's a mess. It's a mess. So, I mean, that's just the thread that's woven through any relationship, is that you must have that good communication to let your body know which soldiers are coming out. So your cytokines are produced during the evening hours. And a couple things are important. Number 1, you've got to be sleeping. Number 2, if you're sleeping with a stomach full of food, your body's using its energy to not produce cytokines. It can't. It has to use it to digest. Okay, so you want to sleep on an almost empty stomach. So we recommend on our program that you're having a big breakfast and a really good lunch and just have a herbal tea for dinner. You want to be sleeping on an almost empty stomach. You want to be sleeping. You want your room to be dark. There should be a little bit of fresh air coming through, and it should be quiet. And friends, please put down your devices. An hour before bed, you should not be having anything flashing at your eyes, whether it's TV, whether it's an iPad, whether it's a phone. Doesn't matter if you've got blue light glasses on. Just get rid of all of the glares and stares from all of your screens at least an hour before bed. And you should really read this really cool ancient thing. You should try doing this before bed. Sorry, do you know what that is? A book. It's got these things called pages. And you just turn on a light in your room, because then it's not flashing at your eyes, it's flashing on the book. And as you read through your book, that's what this is called, with pages, it's amazing that it can help you fall asleep. Now, make sure you're not reading like a horror story or anything too exciting. But definitely get a good book and just start reading before bed. So that is a really great way. Create that bedtime routine. But friends, we've also got to get to bed early. We can't be up at 11, 12 o'clock at night. We should be asleep by 10 o'clock. And I'm sure I'm not speaking to a bunch of 8-year-olds, but honestly, that was the best bedtime. Human cycle speaking, we should all be asleep by 9 and up by 5. That's the natural human cycle if you look at the rhythm and the circadian rhythm of the human body. Yeah. So 8:30 is even better. 8:30 to 4:30. Yeah, that would be the deal. I'm working on it for sure. All right. Now, I did promise that I'm not a supplement pusher, but number 4 is vitamin C, but not the way you think. Sure, if you have to, take a vitamin C pill. But what I would ideally recommend is that you really get a lot of vitamin C in, and understand that most of the vitamin C that is in your orange is in the peel. That's in your lemon is in the peel. So if you can blend up, make sure your orange or your lemon is organic, or you've scrubbed the outside really well. But if you could blend up that orange, blend up that lemon, add some garlic, add an onion, add some water to make sure it blends up, and you can consume something like that. Of course, not all at once, because that would give you a tummy ache, but a couple tablespoons at a time. But vitamin C is a powerful way to strengthen your immune system. Camu, that is a bitter berry that is extremely high in vitamin C, like 200 times the amount you would find in an orange. So it's equivalent, tablespoon per tablespoon of some orange and camu, 200 times the amount. An acerola cherry is another very, very high and potent vitamin C. So get vitamin C in its pure form and take it when your immune system feels weak. And what you can do is just keep a lemon in your freezer, and that morning you're not feeling good, take it out of the freezer and just grate the skin of the lemon into a cup, add a bit of water and drink that down. That's just such a great way to get potent vitamin C in your body. So will the juice of the lemon still have vitamin C? Of course it will, but I'm just letting you know that the skin is where most of the vitamin C is from. And that's why when we make our natural penicillin, we actually include the skin in that recipe. And don't worry, friends, it's always organic at the Energy Shack. So a reminder for those that have come in a little late is that the onion has a ton of vitamin C as well. So add fresh onions into your salad. Don't add fruits into your salad. Tomatoes, peppers, if you're okay with nightshades, those have vitamin C. Even spinach has vitamin C. So you would be surprised, but your potent vitamin C is for sure going to come through your citrus, and just make sure you're trying to get local. And it's in the skin. It's the skin that it's in that's so powerful. Number 4, we're just about to do number 5. Anybody have any idea what you should do if you have a cold? Number 5. So let's review before we get to the 5th one. We feel a cold coming on. We've done our best to prevent our immune system from getting weak, but we feel a cold coming on. What's the first thing we're going to do? Number 1 was garlic, okay? Onion is also great, which was number 2. Number 3, we are going to go to bed early. Number 4, we are going to load up with natural ways to take vitamin C. And number 5, some of you guys are going to be like, I'm not doing that. No way. Yes, you should. You ready? Hydrotherapy. I bet you didn't think that was coming, but not like what you think. So it's not, I'm not suggesting that you go and sit in a hot bath and put some Epsom salt, even though that's good hydrotherapy. First of all, if this is a new word for anybody, it is just the use of water for therapeutic. The therapeutic use of water. I said that fully backwards. So it's a therapeutic use of water. And again, I think the things I'm telling you are inexpensive and almost free. So going to sleep, I'm not sure that costs you anything except to have a bed and covers. And just takes a bit of discipline. But this hydrotherapy technique that I want to share with you, I'm going to tell you, it works every single time. So let's go through this. You feel like you have a cold coming on. You took that garlic and you blended it with some lemon juice, a little bit of honey. You took a couple tablespoons of that. You chopped up the onions. You put it in your socks. You stuck that on with a plastic bag. You also made sure that you had a bit of that lemon peel inside your water. And it's like 8 o'clock. You are wanting to get ready to go to bed so you can be in bed early. You're not feeling well. And what should you do now? Well, before you put those onion socks on, I want you to go in the shower, soak up with warm water, make it as hot as you can. And friends, I'm not kidding. Turn off almost all that hot water and let the cold water hit your body for like a minute. Yes, you will scream and you will yell and you'll be like, I don't like this and I wasn't feeling good. and then you turn back on the hot water and you're like, ah, this is amazing, but this is too hot. And you turn back off the hot water and you go back and forth 3 times. You're trying to stay in each temperature for a minute. Now, it doesn't have to be like screaming, freezing cold for a minute, but the colder the better and the hotter the better. You're trying to go through 2 extremes. Why am I doing this? Because, we want to hear you sing in the shower? No. The reason why we're suggesting this, or that I'm suggesting this, is because the truth is when you do this kind of hydrotherapy, when the cold hits your skin, your body's forced to produce more white blood cells. It's incredible. And all of your blood vessels start to constrict and dilate, constrict and dilate. Do you know what that means? That means that you are racing your blood all around with all those healthy white blood cells. They're like now up and down and all over your body, and it's finding the virus and the pathogens. So at the same time, with that cold water, once it hits you, it forces your body to make even more white blood cells rapidly. It's incredible. You had your garlic, your onion socks are ready, you took some vitamin C, you grabbed a book, you're ready to just lay in bed, you had your hot and cold shower, you go to sleep. You are going to wake up like a champion. You'd be like, cold what? Virus what? I'm cured. No, not entertaining anybody. In closing, friends, I want to share something with you. Look at this wonderful picture. This is my backyard, and I'm not kidding. So I want you just to take inventory of, what this picture makes you feel like. What kind of thoughts are coming in your mind? And I'd love for you to, throw it in the chat. Tell me what you think this, what kind of thoughts and feelings come in your mind as you look at this picture. Relax, peaceful, fresh air. Looks like the sun's just starting to rise. So I love that. I love as the sun begins to rise and then it's just glaring. It's so beautiful. Keep looking and pay attention to how your body's feeling right now. And now pay attention to how your body feels looking at this. Yeah. How are you feeling? Peaceful, relaxed? Like, oh man, is it 5 o'clock? What's happening? So I'm showing you those 2 pictures because I want you to understand the reality of stress, because you can eat as healthy as you want, you can exercise all the time, but your vagus nerve, which goes from your brain through your heart, your lungs, and ends in the stomach, every time we're stressed out, we dump cortisol. That cortisol actually starts to deplete your probiotics and kills your immune system. So stress is probably the biggest reason why people have a weak immune system. Anybody who works nights and doesn't get that good night's sleep, they put their body into stress. And they also don't get that cytokine reproduction. So you might notice, or if you know anybody that works nights or is up all the time in the evening and late nights, they have a very weak immune system. So stress is very, very, very real. And that probably does the #1 killer on your immune system, almost more than sugar, I would say. So I want you to be intentional about, as I said, the things you can control. So just going back to the beginning of the seminar, is that what you put in your mouth, you can control. What time you go to bed, you can control. Whether you're going to make time for exercise, you can control that. Now, you might not be able to leave the city, and you might have to literally fight that traffic every day. But on the weekends or in free time, wherever you can carve out, even if you live in the city, there are trails everywhere in Toronto. If there's any good thing our government has done, they have preserved trails, so many of them all over the city, where in just a few minutes, you can actually get to a really nice, quiet place. So really take the time to go out in nature, get to bed early, use the natural remedies where you can, make exercise an intentional part of your lifestyle, as well as whole food eating, because those things you can control. Those things are in your control, in your command. Whether or not a virus is passed over to you or not, out of your control. And you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to fear. If you are following these suggestions, you should have no issues being able to naturally fight a virus. And remember, catching a cold is not the problem. The cold catching you, now that's the issue. So if you do need any more information, or you need to book a consultation to help get your immune system in order, or you just need a quick nutrition question, get on a detox or anything else, we would love to help you. This is our information. Visit us at theenergyshackjuicebar.com. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And if you have any questions or need anything else, this is our store phone number and our email address. If you guys have questions, please throw it in the chat. But it was really wonderful. I hope connecting with you guys today. I hope that this was valuable information, and you are going to make sure that no cold catches you. All right. Have a good night, everyone.